Welcome to Shepherd Studios' Critical Care podcast, the story of military aircraft sustainment and support in an unpredictable world. We are brought to you in partnership with our sponsor, Collins Aerospace. Over the course of 4 episodes, we look at the role of sustainment in ensuring fleet readiness, consider the part that technology plays in reducing downtime, and hear about the advantages of greater collaboration between industry and the military. Lifecycle support, or sustainment, is key to delivering aircraft readiness. But what does this entail? Here's Craig Bries, Head of Sales, Marketing and Business Development for the Avionics business unit of Collins Aerospace.
Well, in simple terms, lifecycle support includes all the elements of sustainment that support a product, a system, or a platform from the first day of fielding through the day the asset is retired. Really, in my mind, successful support equals mission readiness. The asset's ready, it's able to fulfill its mission when it's called upon. As we're talking the military and defense sector, lifecycle support is a placement of resources, technical capabilities that ensure mission availability of that system or platform. I mean, it goes from a tactical radio system to a whole platform like a C-130. And these capabilities may include things or a combination of logistics, spares, obsolescence management, the testing and repair of critical components. The key really is that the support needs to be flexible because our customers have changing demands and needs, and we need to adapt with those as the platform matures through the life cycle. And one thing I thought I'd highlight that we're seeing lately, an increasing need for an approach that's being pressured by the extended life of many platforms out there. While at the same time, these useful lives are getting extended, the missions are becoming more complex and airspace continues to evolve. In this example, obviously component obsolescence comes to mind, but also needs for increased capabilities on the aircraft. And flexibility is really critical in this to ensure the mission. But the sustainment approach, and that's why this is a good example, needs to adapt. There's repair, but there's also going to be modification and upgrades that may need to happen to those platforms as they age.
Building an effective lifecycle support plan brings an array of benefits, both financial and operational.
First, it's to be sure that the end user has the necessary resources, technical capabilities, components to ensure their operational readiness. It's all about their ability to achieve their mission. And that's most important on the first day that they may be called on that mission or the last day of the life cycle. Second, it needs to be flexible because this is a dynamic environment like I talked before, and it changes through time. And third, of course, it needs to be affordable. It needs to provide efficiency for the customer and also as we execute it together based on their needs.
There are, of course, costs involved with such lifecycle support.
Really, it's the entirety of the cost that's going to be incurred by the user to operate, support, maintain that product, that system, or that platform, which is unique and complex in the military environment because these products and systems are very complex and they operate in severe conditions in many cases. A platform typically operates multiple decades. There's platforms out there that have been flying for 40 or 50 years. And this sustainment approach is critical, again, so that 40-year-old aircraft can achieve its mission when called upon. The cost, again, in the military environment especially, really began early on in the product and platform development. Because at that time, we're developing the investments needed in support shops, training, sparing, partnerships to support these platforms around the world. Then once they're fielded, The cost is more around operating and supporting, all the direct and indirect costs for using the systems, having trained personnel, doing the maintenance, investing in spares and repairs, and then potentially upgrades or capability enhancements along the way.
As in our day-to-day lives, sustainment decisions involve trade-offs. Sometimes platforms see their service lives extended beyond their retirement dates, adding a new dimension to sustainment costs and challenges. Here's Craig Bries again.
In many cases, if these platforms are carefully maintained, upgraded along the way, they're capable of executing the mission. No doubt about it. Now, I think the trade-offs that happen is when countries, customers, air forces are under budget pressure. So they need to do those trade-offs. Do we procure new aircraft or continue to operate our existing aircraft? Not only is it a trade-off of cost, sometimes aircraft aren't available in the same quantities as they once were. And it's a really varying story, whether you're looking at fighters, bombers, helicopters, right? Trainers, tankers, they all have their nuanced story. But the trade-offs are real, and we are seeing aircraft get extended globally, and lifecycle support and proactive sustainment is a key element to ensure that we can do that and support the customer.
For Collins Aerospace and its partners, performance-based logistics, or PBL, plays a crucial role in improving reliability across the board.
I've been a part of a lot of PBLs, and when I think about it, it's a name for a sustainment approach that is fully aligned between the operator and the provider, and it's based on a performance outcome that they both want to achieve, right? So it can take on all kinds of different shapes and forms, but the key element is it's an aligned performance outcome that both want to achieve. An example could be a PBL that delivers support based upon things such as repair turnaround time and reducing it, which would allow the provider to seek efficiencies in how they execute those repairs for the customer and allow the operator to ensure mission readiness by having assets on their shelf when they need it. And there's trade-offs in this, right? And that's why it needs to be worked between the operator and the provider. There's trade-offs between repair locations, repair strategies. Do we want partners to provide things closer to the customer? Does the customer own depots? Those are all trade-offs that in a good PBL are talked about openly. You agree on the outcomes and then how you're going to execute to those outcomes.
The Critical Care podcast was produced by Shepherd Studio in partnership with Collins Aerospace. A huge thanks for their support.